And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your business life and your personal life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and also on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. Call directly into the studio at area code 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. Now, in today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. Today, my expert contributor is David Garrett on the law, and my special guest, a special lady, Nicole Smith, host of Changes in the Air on K-Bright Radio. She broadcasts both on in San Diego and the Inland Empire from 8 p.m. on. But first, let's talk about what's going to be in the news. Before that, I want you to know, though, that at let's see here, 3:02 p.m. Pacific Time, it's currently 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what? Let's talk about the news. I promised you I would, and I'm going to. Here's the 10 things that you need to know for today. We've encapsulated these, and then we'll get more into depth in just a little bit. You know, your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about today. First up, what Trump didn't do at a town hall. The Republican presidential frontrunner declines to challenge a questioner in New Hampshire who incorrectly states that Obama is a Muslim and not even an American. Second item up is Serbia, angered by a Croatian move. You know, what the heck going on here? I just all of a sudden lost my my news feed here. It should be up here any second. Let's just give me a second. It'll be right here. There we go. Now we've got it. Now we got it cooking. So the second item here is Serbia, angered by Croatian move. Here's the deal. Croatia closes all of its border crossings with Serbia except for one after straining to cope with some 13,000 refugees who entered the country after Hungary closed off its border in the last 2 days. The third item in the news is how current a wave of migration compares historically. You know, the number of refugees globally stands at about a record 60 million and draws comparisons with World War II, yet it pales to the internal movement within China, where about 253 million rural farmers have moved to cities for work. The fourth item in the news is House bills may mollify conservatives. Here's the deal. GOP leaders are on track to pass a measure targeting Planned Parenthood and another curbing some abortion procedures. The fifth item in the news today for you to be aware of is why the Fed has yet to raise rates. Here's the thing. Economists say that the central bank needs to see a stable dollar. Now, steady oil prices and a stronger job market before it would consider raising the interest rates, which is why the Fed did not raise the rates yesterday. The sixth item in the news that you need to be aware of is who is criticizing the Pope. Francis plans to meet with Cuba's president and its priests, its young and its sick, its churchgoers and its seminarians, but not its dissidents, sparking bitter critiques. The seventh item in the news is communities are making efforts to become dementia-friendly, as recognition, diagnosis, and treatment of diseases such as Alzheimer's increases. U.S. cities are embracing efforts to make it easier for stricken in their everyday interactions. The eighth item that you should be aware of in the news is women may be excluded from some military roles. The Marine Corps is expected to ask that women not be allowed to compete for several frontline combat jobs, inflaming tensions between Navy and Marine leaders. The ninth item in the news is he, she, ze, they. Well, let me tell you about it. Many colleges now let or encourage transgender, genderqueer students choose their pronouns. And the last item that's going to be in the news is Broncos shocked the Chiefs with a late rally. Denver cornerback Bradley Robbie returns Jamal Charles' second fumble, 21 yards for a touchdown with 27 seconds remaining, stunning Kansas City 31-24. That is the synopsis of what's in the news today. Let's get to what's actually going on and do a little more in-depth. Let's talk about Europeans shut borders, block bridges to halt migrant surge. Thousands of migrants were trapped today in a vicious tug-of-war as bickering European governments shut border crossings, blocked bridges, and erected new fences in a bid to stem the wave of humanity fleeing conflict and poverty in the Middle East and Africa. Asylum seekers who fled westward also, after being actually beaten back by tear gas and water cannon on the Hungarian-Serbian border, just days earlier found themselves being returned to Serbia, where their ordeal began after Croatia declared it could not handle the influx. The European Union's failure to find a unified response to the crisis left this tiny Balkan nation, one of the poorest in the European Union, squeezed between the blockades thrown up by Hungary and Slovenia and the unending flood of people flowing north from Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. With more than 17,089 migrants arriving in just 3 days, Croatian Prime Minister Zoran Milanovic declared that his nation of 4.2 million could no longer cope and the asylum seekers could not stay. What else can we do? Milanovic said at a news conference, "You are welcome in Croatia and you can pass through Croatia, but go on, not because we don't like you, but because this is not your final destination. Croatia has shown it has a heart," he said. "We also need to show we have a brain." Across Eastern Europe, barriers to the migrants' passage were thrown up as nations tried to shift the burden of handling the influx onto the neighbors, leaving asylum seekers ever more angry, confused, and desperate. You know what? It's a sad state of affairs. You know, if you think about what's going on in the world today, it's just sad. You know what? Let's talk about Russian and the United States military talks concerned over Syria. American and Russian military chiefs began talks today over Moscow's building in Syria, signaling the U.S. is resigned to Russia's emerging plans, but anxious to avoid dangerous misunderstandings on the battlefield. A 50-minute phone call between U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter and Russia Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu marked the first military-to-military conversation between the two countries in more than a year. And it came as Russia continued to send aircraft, troops, and military equipment into Syria, and the U.S.-led coalition kept up its assault against Islamic State militants. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov broached the idea of direct talks earlier this week in a phone call with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry, and Shoigu initiated the call to Carter on today. U.S. officials are increasingly worried that Russia's plan to defend and support the government of Syrian President Bashar Assad could conflict with coalition airstrikes and other military operations against the Islamic State. The main focus of the phone call, according to a senior defense official, was to talk about how the fight against IS will go forward without miscalculations. Now, do not go away, because when we come back from this short break, I'm going to get more into the news. And the next item in the news for us is Syrian refugees see European dream evaporate in a new home. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And we're talking news. The next item up in the news is Syrian refugees see the European dream evaporate in a new home. It was pitch dark by the time the Syrian refugee family arrived in the eastern German town that was to be their new home. As they prepared to get off the train, a drunken skinhead stumbled past with a glare that made 11-year-old Raghad huddle closer to her mom. The 5 members of the Habashi family took a taxi to the asylum center assigned to them by a computer in Berlin. It was a former army barracks used by the Soviets and by the Nazis before them, surrounded by towering fences topped with barbed wire. That's when Raghad lost it and began to cry. "I'm scared. I hate this," she burst out, staring at the forbidding gates. For the Habashis, Mother Kola Karim, 19-year-old daughter Reem Sons Mohammed, 17, and Yaman, 15, and little Raghad, it was the end of a draining day, the latest in a string of draining days in a terrifying journey to a new life. It has taken them from bombed-out Damascus over the choppy Mediterranean on a rubber dinghy, across the Balkans at the mercy of human traffickers, and finally through Austria by minibus and into a promised land of Germany. Beyond the gates, young migrant men lined up in the gloom, dimly illuminated by floodlights, waiting to get plastic bags stuffed with rolls and wrapped cheese, a late dinner. A police officer with a gun in his belt stood nearby surveying the scene. The Senator barracks in a depressed part of Germany that's a far cry from the vibrancy of Berlin gave the Habashis their first inkling that the land of dreams may not be all that they had hoped for. Well, you know what? Time will tell. And you know what? You heard me say it yesterday. The problem is that while you want to accommodate all of these migrants that are looking for asylum because their lives are in danger and their families are in danger, and you want to accommodate as many as you can, you know, it's just not possible or feasible that one particular city that they might want to go to can be the one that actually can accommodate them. You need to spread them around a little bit. Try to keep the families together as best as you can, but you know what? They're not going to get to pick and choose. That would be like everybody that coming to the United States wants to live in either New York City or Beverly Hills, California. Just isn't going to happen, right? No. Okay, let's move on. The latest, Slovenian police pepper spray migrants at the border. The latest developments as European governments rush to cope with huge number of people moving across Europe. A Hungarian official says 40 Croatian police officers have been disarmed and registered after crossing the border without prior notice while escorting a train with 1,000 migrants into Hungary. Gregory Bakandi, Prime Minister Viktor Orban's Homeland Security advisor, said today that the train was seized and its conductor placed in police custody while the migrants were sent to registration centers where they may request asylum. Government spokesman Zoltan Kovacs denied statements by Croatian officials claiming the transport of migrants to Hungary had been coordinated and agreed on by the two governments. Kovacs said the migrants arriving from Croatia were coming toward the border without prior consultation, without respecting official channels. You know, I guess there has to be a way, right, for these things to happen, and you have to honor those ways. There's just nothing more you can say about it. You absolutely just have to honor those ways, and when you do that, then things will run a lot smoother. But I can imagine the fear that all of these migrants have, and they're just trying to get themselves and their families to safety. And that's really where we're at here is, can you get them to safety? That's the biggest thing that you can even imagine. Well, how about this? When candidates confront inaccurate, inflammatory comments. Well, Donald Trump was hardly the first to face this situation and won't be the last. Candidates are confronted with all sorts of comments on the campaign trail, including plenty that are inaccurate and some that are sure to offend. How should they respond? Well, yesterday, GOP presidential candidate Trump faced such a moment when a supporter at a town hall event complained about Muslims in the country and stated that President Barack Obama is Muslim. Actually, he's a Christian. Here's a look at how Trump and other candidates before him have actually handled such situations. Let's start off with Donald Trump first. It says, "We have a problem in this country. It's called Muslims," began the questioner. The first Trump had selected at a post-debate rally in the early voting state of New Hampshire. He says, "We know our current president is one." This is what the questioner is saying. "You know he's not even an American," the man said. Well, Trump, who once was a driver of a birther movement that falsely claimed Obama wasn't even born in the United States, first laughed off the question, but let the man continue. "We have training camps growing where they want to kill us. That's my question. When can we get rid of it?" the questioner said. Well, Trump, who was shot to the front of the GOP pack with his own controversial statements, did not dispute the man. A lot of people are saying that, and a lot of people are saying that bad things are happening out there, Trump responded. We're going to be looking at that and plenty of other things as well. Trump's campaign manager later said that Trump had trouble hearing in the busy room, though the man had been amplified by the microphone and could be heard by reporters seated in the back of the auditorium. This is how John McCain actually handled a similar thing. In 2008, Republican presidential nominee McCain took questions from several angry voters that became a signature moment of the campaign. One of the questioners said that he was fearful of a possible Obama presidency. Another claimed the future president was an Arab. First of all, I want you I want to be president of the United States, and obviously I do not want Senator Obama to be. But I have to tell you, he is a decent person and a person that you do not have to be scared as president of the United States, said McCain. The response earned him boos from the crowd. He was equally quick to correct a woman who said of Obama, he's an Arab. No, ma'am, replied McCain. He's a decent family man, citizen, that I just happen to have disagreements with on a fundamental issues. And that's what this campaign is all about. Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS loses. In the first case up, a tax lien on a pension is not valid against the beneficiary. I'll tell you all about it right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Dental Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are. My favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. It just sends chills up and down my spine. I love it when we get to this part of the show. So, you know what? Let me get right to it and not waste any time. The first case up is a tax lien on a pension is not valid against the beneficiary. Let me tell you about it. Richard Kelly fell behind on his taxes, and as a result, the IRS put a lien on his assets, including payments from his pension plan, taking part of each of those things. Now, Richard's son was his pension plan beneficiary, and when Richard died, the son became entitled to payments from the plan. The IRS said that the lien still applied to Richard's plan account, so it could still collect on the payments to the son. The son went to court to get some justice and satisfaction, and this is what the judge actually had to say. The plan account had not been Richard's property since he couldn't sell or transfer it while alive. Thus, the lien had applied only to the money paid from the account to him as his property, and the money paid to the son is the son's property and therefore escapes the lien. Just makes common sense, doesn't it? This is the IRS trying to get away with more of this kind of crud that's going on. And you know what? We can't allow that to happen. It's just not honest, and it's not fair. Here's a case that the IRS conceded, and I'll tell you all the time, the IRS only concedes when they're pretty doggone sure they're going to lose a case when it's coming up. Here's the case. The tax court can review innocent spouse determinations. Now, this case, in 1998, Congress expanded the innocent spouse rules that allow one spouse to escape tax owed on a joint return that is attributable to the other. The IRS then argued that its application of the new rules could not be reviewed by the tax court. However, the court ruled otherwise, saying that it has jurisdiction over such cases and can therefore overrule the IRS. The IRS now has announced that it accepts this in cases where innocent spouse protection is sought after it assesses a tax deficiency. But the IRS further states that it still has the final word when no deficiency is assessed, as is the case when a spouse seeks a refund. Well, you know what? They can say they got the final word, but it's sort of like all these lower courts trying to tell the Supreme Court that they have the final word. You know what? It's not going to be that way. How about this case? The IRS loses. Deduction that it disallowed for lack of proof is increased by the tax court. You're going to love this one. Lionel Jones claimed a charitable deduction of $6,045 for weekly cash contributions to two churches. But since he had no receipts or canceled checks for them, the IRS disallowed the entire deduction. Now, Jones filed a case in tax court, and this was the decision of the judges. Jones's testimony was credible. In addition, he presented letters from the two churches saying he had contributed $3,775 and $4,466 to them respectively, a total of $8,201, which was more than he had actually deducted. Due to his credible testimony and this documentary support, his deduction was increased to this new figure. So the courts actually increased the figure. You got to love that, right? Absolutely. Now, how'd you like to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff? Well, that's where we're at when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah, here we are inside the IRS. Let me tell you about some of these things. First off, the IRS tracks foreign account schemers, so you want to be aware, right? Last year, the IRS began seeking unreported foreign bank accounts through records of credit cards used to tap them, while offering owners of such accounts reduced penalties if they came forward, reported them voluntarily, and informed the IRS about the sponsors and promoters of such accounts. So, I mean, you can see what's coming, right? Here's the result. More than 1,300 taxpayers came forward. So far, the IRS has collected more than $170 million in taxes, interest, and penalties. Most important, the IRS has obtained the names of nearly 500 scheme and scam promoters, about half of whom were previously unknown to the IRS. Now, here's the key. The IRS says that it is now obtaining each promoter's participant list, which names all the other people for whom the promoter set up such accounts who haven't turned themselves in. With these names and the knowledge the IRS has obtained from the promoters about the details of how offshore accounts are set up, the IRS expects to catch many more owners of unreported foreign accounts. The likelihood of these tax evaders hearing from us in the increasing daily, says the IRS. You got to figure, you know that's what's going to happen, right? Sure you do. How about this? A famed tax protester pleads insanity. The lawyer for Irwin Schiff, the most famous of all U.S. tax protesters, has told the federal court he believes Schiff suffers from mental disease in an attempt to help Schiff escape $2.5 million in back taxes and penalties. Schiff's belief system appears to be completely circular. Within that system, Schiff is right. The government and the courts are wrong, and he remains impervious to rational discussion. He suffers from a severe delusional disorder or other mental disease or defect. Now, Schiff's psychiatrist also told the court that Schiff has been paranoid for years as a result of having lost heavily in his tax shelter that turned out to be a Ponzi scheme. For many years, Schiff has lectured as well as sold books and various kinds of schemes purporting to show how the tax code is illegal, appearing often on television and in media to argue that belief. His materials have continued to sell well despite his being jailed twice for failing to pay his own taxes. Go figure, right? Now, do not go away. When we come back, we're going to be with my special guest, Nicole Smith, the host of Change is in the Air on K-Bright Radio. That's KBRT. She broadcasts, I believe, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., both in the Inland Empire and the San Diego area. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Nicole Smith of Change is in the Air.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000. 5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street in the intersection of business and politics, where right now at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time, it is currently 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Boy, you talk about hot. Have I got a hot guest for you right now? I don't want to wait too awful long, so let's get her in here the proper way. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome aboard my good friend, Nicole Smith, the host of Changes in the Air on K-Bright Radio. That's KBRT Radio. She broadcasts, I believe, every Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. K-Bright is a Southern California Christian radio station, and it airs Christian talk radio programming from Costa Mesa, California, to Los Angeles, to Orange County, to the Inland Empire, to San Diego, Santa Barbara, and way beyond that stuff. It's a 10,000-watt station. Please help me welcome aboard my good friend, Nicole Smith.
Well, hi.
Hey, Nicole, how are you? I'm just so thrilled to have you on the show. It's just wonderful. I don't know why I haven't had you on before this.
I have no idea, but it's good to talk to you because, you were, again, you brought me on the air first. Before anybody else.
You know what? I remember you had. I think it was your first day. You went into a KCAA radio in San Bernardino, and you were actually just observing. You wanted to see how the shows were going, how the engineers were working, and those kinds of things. And I thought, what the heck? Let's do this right. Let's just bring her into the studio and put her on the show.
Yeah, you were so brave. You were so brave. You knew I had absolutely no experience, none. And you were like, come on in. I'm like, no, come on. And my very first time, to get ready to even do a show. But I also had remembered I drove around town listening to KCAA because that's where I was going to do my show. Mm-hmm. And I always listened to your show. I would literally sit in my car in the Walmart parking lot or wherever I was if I had to run to the store, and I would listen to your show to know how to do what you do.
That's a scary thought, wanting to know what I do, right?
Again, when you peruse the station, you're listening to see if anybody catches your ear, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And I'm a researcher by nature. So I'd already gone through all the shows that were on the lineup. And it was like, okay, well, when I get in the car, I'm going to check different ones. But when I would get, and I heard yours, I thought, now this is the one. Because I wanted to listen to what I felt was the top notch.
Oh, boy. You know what? You're making my head so big, I'll never be able to get out of the studio here.
Well, that's okay. This is the truth. This is the truth. And I would sit and I would listen to your show to see how you did things, if I could pick it up. Not knowing that I was going to go in and actually see you doing the show. And you'd say, come on over. That's why I was like, no.
Well, you know what? You have gone way beyond it, and you are really comfortable behind the microphone now. You can really tell that. You know what I'd like you to do, if you could, talk about your beginning days there at NBC Superstation at KCAA Radio, and how you actually honed your show that that Changes in the Air, and the fact that you moved on from there to K-Bright, a large 10,000-watt station. Just talk a little bit about that, and talk about your show in particular, when it airs, and how people can listen to you.
Well, like I was saying, I didn't have any radio experience. I'm not from entertainment at all. This was just one of my dreams, and it actually came through prayer and someone speaking into me saying, it's time for you to go. And I don't know how, but I looked online. There was KCAA, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go give them a try. But I also had gone through, like I said, their lineup and looked around to see, who's who, what's what. And that's why you saw me in the station, because I wanted to come in and check out, how do you do live radio? I don't know. And because I listened to you, and then when you brought me in, and you were like, just be natural. Okay. And so basically, with changes in the air, that's what you get with me. I don't change on air. I don't change off air. I don't change on Facebook or social media. What you really get is me. This is it. I don't have time to figure out who I am from hour to hour.
You are who you are. You get what you pay for, right?
Yeah, and so learned how to do my show seriously by watching the other broadcasters. That's why you saw me in the station so much.
Oh, you lived there.
Yeah, pretty much. Every chance I got, I was in that station watching the other shows and watching how the other hosts that I thought were top-notch did their shows, and just taking it all in and talking to you guys, because, I would always tell you, well, how did you do this? Or how do you do that? I would even email you, well, how did you put this together? And that's kind of how I begin to grow. And I think I did, I started in January 2012, and I just left to K-Bright in January of 2015.
Wow, I can't hardly believe that it was 2012 when you started. That it seems like it was just yesterday.
I know, doesn't it? Because I still consider myself a newbie, even though I do think professionally, once you hit 3 years in any profession, they consider you a little bit more seasoned. Not so.
Oh yeah, you know what? They start calling you a professional, right? And then when you're not listening, when you got the headset on your head and you can't hear anything but yourself, in the background they got this noise going on, Nicole.
Yeah. And again, like you you're no, actually I'm not. I'm going to be honest. This is my top secret thing that I do. Seriously, I pray before I go on the mic.
Well, that's a good habit to get into.
It's really how I am. It's how I live. Everything I do, I kind of pray about, which is also kind of how Changes in the Air came about, how it's continued to grow. People, because I'm still amazed.
Hey, listen, do you ever say to yourself, you say this little prayer because you want to give a really good show, right? You want to do the best you can, and you're thinking to yourself as you're saying this prayer, hoping that everything goes off without a hitch and that it's interesting and entertaining. You're hoping that this isn't the one show that God is going to prove that he's got a sense of humor and just messes up the whole thing.
Well, he does it a lot. He does it a lot. And I think, I learned a lot by starting out doing live, because anything can happen live and you have to be ready,
Oh, yeah.
Whatever it is, a guest doesn't call in that you've had scheduled. Anything when the equipment goes down, you have to be ready. And that's the type of things that I learned by doing live radio versus now at K-Bright, we are pre-recorded. So I go in one day a week and I tape a few shows. And the way the format of the show is, I tape an hour show, like what I did with NBC KCAA,
mm-hmm.
but then they edit it for 15 minutes. I air that 160-minute show.
Oh.
So that people kind of get like a taste, and then I'm gone. If you want more, you come back.
Okay, so explain that to me. So you tape a 1 hour show, but people are only going to hear 15 minutes of it, and if they want to hear the next segment, they've got to come back?
You've got to come back every single night.
Oh, you actually have a 1 hour show that plays 4 days. And if you want to hear, I thought you said it was 15 minutes per time.
Yeah, but we will stretch it out. They've got all kinds of little tricks.
Okay.
And then on occasion, they will even break it up. I'll do 1 hour, or we change this format, Robert, so much that I can do a 1 hour show, but I may tape 3 guests. I may tape 4 guests.
Oh, gotcha.
So it's constantly, K-Bright, I have to be honest, it's constantly changing the format of how I'm doing things, because I have so many different avenues that I can take. which is what's different.
So let me ask you this, Nicole. Because K-Bright is a very large Christian radio station, and it's got a large area that it broadcasts to, are you limited then in the content that you can put out there? I mean, you're interviewing people all the time, but is it always on a religious basis, or are you getting guests in that are just interesting to everybody?
Well, the thing that's when I got the invitation to come to K-Bright, I was actually ready to make a change. However, I didn't know where to go or how to move because, again, I'm not from the industry. And I got a call from someone who said, Nicole, we want you to bring Changes in the Air to K-Bright. And it's a Christian station. And I immediately was like, are y'all sure? I know you know the show, but are you sure? Because this is what I say about Changes in the Air. It is a faith-based, inspirational type show. Mm-hmm. Because the thing that we talk about is the changes we go through in life. Because everybody's going through some type of change and some type of struggle. The difference is I talk about mine. And the guests that I have talk about theirs. So, yes, it is a faith-based show, but it's based on my faith in Jesus Christ and that message of love and hope in the Bible. It is not based upon my guess.
And a mutual support for both sides as far as the people that are you're interviewing that have had trials in their lives and challenges in their lives. You have as well, and you now have these things in common, and you can talk about how your faith has brought you through this struggle. Is that what's going on here?
That, how your faith has brought you through, or how you get through whatever changes that life has thrown you. Because some people don't look at faith the same way I do, but they still have a faith, or they have a positive input in how they get through. One of my guests, and actually the very first guest that I had on my first Changes in the Air at K-Bright show is Dr. Barry Sandrew. Mm-hmm. And Dr. Barry Sandrew is well known because he is the creator of taking 2D movies to 3D.
Okay, now I'm going to stop you right there because that's a spot where that's really interesting. We have to go on a short commercial break. We'll come right back and we'll talk about this process of the 2D to 3D movies and the issues and the challenges that you guys discussed. We'll be right back with my special guest, Nicole Smith, the host of Changes in the Air on K-Bright Radio. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And if you don't come back to be with us, I'll come looking for you. So look out. I'm not near as passive as Nicole is.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, right now, the 405 Media Radio is going to be leaving us. We only have them for an hour. I want to remind everybody that if you want to hear that second hour on the 405 Media Radio, just go and pick up my apps. You can go to the Apple App Store and just search Robert Cardoza Live, and my app's available. It's free of charge. You can listen to my archive shows. You can listen to my show live. You can actually chat with me on that system free and live. Or if you have an Android or a Windows-based app, you can go to googleplay.com and again search Robert Cardoza Live. There's an app for that for you. It's absolutely free. You can follow me. You can listen to the shows live. You can chat with me, or you can listen to the archive shows. Or you can go to my website at robertcardozalive.com and pick up everything there. But right now, I am so excited. I'm talking to my really good friend. I just love this girl to death, Nicole Smith. She's the host of Changes in the Air on K-Bright Radio. Nicole, you were getting ready to talk to me about, and I'm sorry, I forgot the gentleman's name that you're going to talk about, but he was taking you from 2D to 3D, I think, movies.
Yeah, he also created colorization of movies.
Oh, my.
So his name is Dr. Barry Sandrew. He was my first guest. And Dr. Barry Sandrew is not known for being one of faith.
Mm-hmm.
So when I first approached him, I was still at NBC KCAA. However, we made the switch, and I had to tell him, I've moved to Christian talk. Are you okay with that? And he said, as long as they're okay with me. I said, well, it's my show. We're going to do it. And and I gave him my ground rules, which I only have one rule on my show, and that is whoever you are, you got to have a good time. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Just have a good time. And he was okay with that. So, it doesn't matter the guest and their faith for me, because we've done authors and, entertainers and you name it, comedians to everyday people. Everybody faces change, and everybody has struggles in life. And the question always is for me, how do you keep your hope as you go through those things? Or if it's a movie that's coming out, is that a movie that's going to give people hope? Because right now, that's a lot of things that people are dealing with. People are finding that they're losing their hope in the struggle of everyday life. You've lost a job. You've lost a loved one. There's just a multitude of things. So how are you making it through day to day? Is it crushing you? Well, if it is, then I want you to know you're not alone, because guess what? I face those same changes, and this is how I'm going through it. You don't have to do it my way. but I hope that I can inspire you and uplift you with what you hear us talk about. Because people get real open. I don't know how it happens, but it happens.
So let me ask you this, Nicole, because I have my way of doing my show. And when I talk to someone and I want to find out a little bit about how you prepare or if you prepare, generally what I'll do is I'll find out who it is that's going to be scheduled for my show, who's going to be on my show, and I'll look them up on Google and I'll look them up on their websites and I'll try and gather some information. But I really am opposed to these canned interviews. I don't like them. I think they're stuffy and not very interesting for people. And so I'll just kind of glean from that a little bit of background and then just get into a dialogue, a conversation with the person that I want to interview. Is that how you handle it as well, or how do you handle it?
Exactly, pretty much the same. I will, pray about who it is that I'm, looking for. Who is it that might bring hope to somebody right now? Who is it that might bring hope to my life right now? I'll do some Google search. I dig. And then I'm going to listen to all the different interviews and things that have already been said about you. I don't normally touch a lot of that because, number one, I'm not an interviewer. I'm not trained in journalism. I do have degrees, but they are not in what I do. Mm-hmm. So I like to have a conversation, and that's what we do. We have a conversation, and it goes from there. I do write questions, but I let my guest, which I feel like I'm welcoming into my home, let's just talk. I'm going to ask the same questions pretty much of everybody. How is it that you've become who you are today, and what changes have you been through, and how did you get through them? Same questions, and it goes from there.
And that's perfect, because you know what? I think that you hit the nail right on the head when what you said is you're inviting someone into your living room, and you're just having a conversation. And what you want them to do is to forget that they're staring into a microphone or anything else. You want them to stare into your eyes and just have this conversation with you. It really kind of makes the process easy, doesn't it?
It does for me, because everybody's a person, It doesn't matter if you are some multi-billionaire, which we have those, or some high studio exec, mm-hmm. Or it doesn't matter to me. I do get starstruck in the sense of I can't believe that this girl with no experience, no nothing, these people have said yes. I'm that way, though, with every guest. Now, anybody that says yes is big time to me.
Now, do you produce your own show and get your own guests, or does the station actually arrange for your guests?
No, I do it all.
What do you do in your spare time, young lady?
Yeah, in my spare time, then I'm a wife and I'm a mother of a 6-year-old son who's quite active and quite busy, and at the same time, I'm still looking for a job, because people think that the radio pays me, and I always tell them, please don't never think that. I pay them for my airtime, which is why I get to have the control that I have over the show.
Well, you know what, and that's really, really important. When you get involved in a contractual arrangement for whatever kind of broadcasting you're doing, if they have control over the content and the format of your show, I think it's all wrong. Then you wind up being forced into supporting or saying things that you don't personally believe in, and I just as soon fold my cards and go away rather than do that.
That's why I think, honestly, Robert, for me, that's why God has not allowed me to, be given some type of development deal without me really learning the business side of this. Because for when that time happens and Changes in the Air does do a development deal, it will be contractually still my show. Because it has to be. Otherwise, it's no longer Changes in the Air with Nicole Smith.
Right.
It's just Changes in the Air. And I've been told to do my show a certain way from my heart. So I know that that's how my show has to go. And you're not going to tell me differently. It's either my way or it doesn't go.
Well, here's the thing, Nicole. The truth is that you would never have received the phone call from Kay Bright when you were at KCAA if Kay Bright didn't already recognize the value in the show and format the way you had it. They wouldn't have called you and said, hey, we want you over here.
Yeah, that's what I was told, actually. And that's what I've even been told in looking to, take the show further on is that, Nicole, the words were, Nicole, when they come for you, they come for you. They don't want different. They want what it is you do. And I'm grateful for that because, again, I don't change. This is what I'm called to do with the gift that I've been given to encourage and uplift. Even as I'm going through my own sometimes living hell, it's just, it's just what you do. It's a part of me. It's like breathing, and for me, I will always talk about my faith. I'm not a preacher. I'm actually a teacher by nature. That's what my degrees are in. That's where my experience comes from. So, it's speaking about what I know. And I believe that you can't teach something well if you haven't really walked it yourself. You can teach it if you're a good teacher, but you can't teach it well unless you've walked it.
You know what? And not only that, and I think you're absolutely right. You can probably teach it, but you can't teach it in a way that is acceptable by the people you're trying to teach it to. And I think what the point I'm trying to make is that, I remember when I was in school, you had instructors or teachers or whatever you want to call them that were interesting. And because they were interesting in their approach and they loved what they were doing and they knew what they were talking about, you could absorb that like a sponge. They made it interesting and they made you want to learn. And then you had other professors that they were just there because they were putting in their time and they were getting paid, and you had a tough time getting through the course because they didn't make it interesting. They weren't talking about something they had experienced. They talked about something they'd learned out of a book.
Exactly. And that is the difference. That is the real difference in being able to connect. Because I can talk about change. I can talk about hope because it's what I live. I have 3 degrees, but I just told you I'm still looking for a job. Yeah, I do the radio, but they don't pay me. So, how do you make a living? How do you do that? Well, again, that's my faith. My faith is what keeps me going. My faith is what really allows people to see me smiling. When really I should be rolling on the floor crying and kicking like a 2-year-old, which I do when my days get really bad, but I still get back up and say, God, you know what? I trust you. You know what you're doing. And I believe that what he tells me is true. All things work together for good. So I look for the good in every single thing that comes my way, good and bad. I look for the good.
Yeah, the thing is that you have a calling that you actually enjoy, and you shouldn't be so quick to want to change that. You know what? Just continue doing what you like and what you enjoy, and entertaining people and counseling people, and the rest of it will come around. I remember going many years ago to a seminar that Zig Ziglar gave out in Riverside, California. It was the convention center, and it was just packed, and people were paying a lot of money to watch him and listen to him. And the one thing that he said that stuck with me all these years was, always, always, always do what makes you happy, that fulfills your time. Don't worry about money, because if you help everyone else get what they want and what they need, not only will it make you happy, but everything else you ever wanted in your life will just magically appear without you ever having to work for it.
Well, I have to say that is true. That is very true. When, what you give will come back to you. So I do give, God told me, give of what you have. And I tell people what I have is me. I have the airwaves, and I'm blessed to be with Cape Wright. It's actually 50,000 watts throughout Southern California and a different tower in San Diego. I'm blessed, and I know that. Blessed means to be envied, to know that you have something good. I know that. And so I don't take it lightly, and I try to give that same feeling to everybody else that I come in contact with.
I think that's wonderful.
Well, that's why I love you, because you made me feel that way. You made me think I could do what I do, and now I'm really doing it.
Well, yeah, but you know what? And you're good at it.
Well, keep telling me that.
Okay, you're good at it. You're good at it.
And
you're good at it.
I will work on believing it. I love what I do. I really do. I love this.
You know what?
And they say, if it's something you really love, you'll do it for free. Well, I do it for free.
Well, you know what? Give out a little plug for yourself. We got 30 seconds before we have to go on a commercial break, and I have to say goodbye to you. I really enjoyed talking to you, and this is the fastest half hour that's ever gone through, right?
Yes.
So,
well, you can listen to us on www.kbrightradio.com, or you can go to my new website, which is www.NicoleSmithMedia.com. We air Monday through Fridays, 8 p.m.
Well, Nicole, it's been a joy. I need to get you back in here because I think we could talk for hours and hours and hours. You know what? I wish you all the luck in the world. You're just a vibrant, exciting young lady, and I know that you're going to be successful beyond your wildest dreams.
And next time we talk, it'll be on my show.
Well, sounds terrific to me. You have a wonderful weekend, Nicole. Stay safe and stay happy.
You do the same.
Okay. I love you too. And we'll be right back with our own David Garrett on the law after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:07 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 93 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, where it's on its way down to 59 degrees. But I want you to know, I am just so excited. This next guy, last week when he was on, we just seemed to get involved in all of these different issues. I take him off into Never Never Land. He prepares a show, and then I take him off asking all these questions. I'm pretty sure the same thing is going to happen now, so let's not waste any more time. Let's just go ahead and get him in here.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the bowels of the Hall of Justice, our own legal guru, David Garrett, attorney at law.
Hey, David, welcome aboard. Good to have you here. The first thing, I always ask you this thing the first time when you get up on the air with me, and that is how'd you do on the ocean waves last weekend?
Well, I'm not setting any records this week or last weekend. I just went for an all-day boat ride and didn't get anything. So what do you do with that?
Well, you know what? At least you got an all-day boat ride.
Yeah, it was nice being out there. I have no complaints about that. And we'd get out there, think the fish were there, run out, start throwing our stuff out, and come back empty about 20, 30 minutes and move on to the next place. Yeah, that sounds good. So listen, I got a message. You're having some trouble hearing over the headphone. I'm adjusting it. Is it a little bit better now? I can hear you. It was the the introductory stuff that was kind of a problem.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and it does that on purpose so we can keep the volume up on the actual commercials. I hate to say that, but that's what we're actually doing here. But I can hear you really well, and you're coming across the board really well. So as long as you can hear me, that's what we really have to be doing. So listen,
yeah, no, we're in good shape there.
Okay, good. So listen, what do we have on the agenda for? Oh, you know what? I got to tell you, I'm going to take you in a left swing here for a minute. Yesterday, I had Sean LaFave, who's on my show twice a week. He's the health expert. And we were talking about this announcement that was made from a research that's being done in Switzerland, and it looks like they're going to do what I'm going to describe here early next year. That it's been approved and they're going to do it. You're going to just about fall off your chair, but I'm wondering about all the legal aspects and how people protect themselves, because they are going to perform the very first total head transplant.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that's amazing?
Yeah, that's wild.
So what happens? I mean, that's got to be as experimental as it can be, right? I mean, is there more liability, legal liability and I'll get into it a little bit, than there would be in a heart transplant? I mean, if you're doing a heart transplant, you have to bypass the heart and keep the body cold and get the blood rolling and make sure the blood is still going into the head and the brain, because if the brain stops working, everything dies, right? Now you're going to be taking one guy's head off, or two guys' heads off, and putting the other head on, and you got to keep the brain alive, otherwise nothing is going to function. And I got to imagine it's going to be I can't imagine it being hours. It's got to be days to do that kind of a surgery. The brain stem and the nerves and the vessels and all the stuff. I can't hardly imagine. What is these guys, is there such a thing as being totally indemnified for the outcome of some kind of an operation like this?
Yeah, I would think on that if everything goes south, I can't see anybody being able to sue the doctors. So, a lot of that stuff goes back to informed consent, and if you got to let people know what the risks are, and if they accept the risk, then that goes a long way to immunizing the doctors. And then the other idea would be standard of care. My
guess is, David, that one guy has already died and there's no hope for him, and they're keeping his brain alive and oxygenated and everything artificially, while this other guy who probably has a terminal brain tumor or some other catastrophic thing going on, whose death is imminent if he doesn't get this done, makes the decision that, I'd rather take this chance and perhaps I can live a fruitful life beyond this, or, so I cut my life short by 30 days or 60 60 days, and maybe that's okay. I'm not sure that that's much different than the state of California now saying that what's the word I want to use for this? When you the right to make a decision about your own death if you are going to die a catastrophic, painful death, a mercy death.
Oh, yeah, the right to die stuff. Yeah, that's kind of how I'd look at it. It can arise in a number of different medical malpractice settings, and it's, let's say you've got a type of cancer that's going to kill you regardless of whatever treatment is provided. I mean, the odds are just so high that it's not worth discussing, and it gets misdiagnosed by a doctor. Well, yeah, he probably, there might have been some malpractice not getting the diagnosis right, but and as sad as it seems to say, so what? It wouldn't have made any difference anyway.
Yeah. So listen, did you have anything prepared for today, or did I just actually throw you a curveball that threw you off here?
Well, I got a couple things prepared here. One of them's kind of entertaining here. I was just scanning my, the legal news that I get, and I ran across this, and there's a publication out there called Law 360, and they provide expert analysis on various areas of the law. So they hired these two retired immigration judges, and they write an article for Law 360. At the time, the article was shortly after that illegal alien up in San Francisco.
That homicide.
Yeah, killed that guy. So they were, or lady, I think it was. So they were critical of what the sanctuary city idea, and that was a little bit of their frustration or purpose of their article. Well, in the article, they use the term illegal alien, and this gets submitted to the publishers at Law 360, and Law 360 promptly kicks the thing back, citing a decision that they use the AP stylistic guides of writing, which prohibits the use of the term illegal alien. And instead of that, they want them to use either undocumented alien or unauthorized alien. The AP program goes to use immigrant as opposed to using the term alien.
So is this just nitpicking to be politically correct?
Exactly. And the sad thing about all this is the term illegal alien shows up in the actual codes. So the judges come back and say, hey, we're not changing this. Illegal alien is the legally appropriate term to use. They withdraw their article and quit writing for the publication. But the thing that was of interest to me was how there's a legally appropriate term out there, yet we have these media, in this case AP, and I'm sure any number of organizations do that, trying to force a political agenda through the manner in which speech or descriptions are used in the articles. I just found that kind of curious here. For me, it was interesting. I don't know.
Well, it makes you wonder at what point is this just, for the lack of a better term off the cuff, at what point is this just make work? Why does this make any difference at all? It just can't people find something that is of more importance to take up other than what you call an alien?
Yeah. I mean, in their discussion, they go into, well, we can't use immigrant because immigrant is somebody that came here legally or after getting here was granted immigration status, so we can't use that word. can't use undocumented because a lot of these guys have documents, even though they're fraudulent documents. And basically, they just came back to the fact that illegal alien was the only word that was legally appropriate.
Well, I mean, I would think so. I mean, I'll tell you what, if you're an alien, it just simply means that you're coming from outside the country. And if you're and if you're an illegal alien, it means that you're somebody from outside the country that came in here illegally.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes sense to me. Hey, David, hold that thought. Or matter of fact, give a little bit of a teaser, because we're going to go on a break here in 10 seconds. Give a little bit of a teaser, and we'll come back and deal with it.
Well, I'd love to talk about clocks in the next segment.
Oh, now that is a teaser. We'll stop your clock right after these commercial breaks. Don't go away. We'll be right back with David Garrett on the law and on the clock.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own David Garrett on the law. And you know what? Time is a-wasting, so let's talk about clocks, David.
I like that. Well, with that preference, I'm sure you reached the conclusion I wanted to talk a little bit about that kid over in Irving, Texas, that got suspended for bringing.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, what a bunch of knuckleheads down there.
I mean, they can't tell a digital clock from a bomb?
Yeah, it's just absolutely nuts. I mean, basically what I understand happened, he makes this home digital clock, brings it to school because he's proud of it, goes to show it to a teacher, and from there he gets arrested, suspended, and I don't know how many days he got suspended for. I think it was like 3 days. And ultimately ends up with an invitation to the White House and Mark Zuckerberg applauding him. So,
well, isn't it the most ridiculous thing in the world? But I have to say this. I think I can almost understand the paranoia that schools and administrators and teachers and law enforcement feel, because it appears that schools seem to be the target, whether it's the target of mentally disturbed adults or mentally disturbed students that are going in there and causing these catastrophic, horrific things that are going on. It seems like schools seem to be the target these days.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you there. I think where I'm having the trouble, and I think your word paranoia, is a pretty accurate term at least in this situation. Because I wonder what factual basis they had to be afraid of to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a clock.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, David. Think about this. This is a homemade digital clock this young man made, and he has every right to be proud of that thing. It's quite an accomplishment. I couldn't have done it. And so what on earth made anybody think it was a bomb, for Pete's sake?
Yeah. I mean, he pulls it out. He shows it to the teacher. He tells her it's a clock. How did they extrapolate to get a bomb out of this sequence of events?
Yeah, and then to escort him out in handcuffs, and he's arrested and all of this stuff. The only good thing that happened out of this is he got to meet the president of the United States and Zucker. Is that Facebook? Is that the guy from Facebook, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think the only thing we're missing in this whole thing is I'm kind of surprised they didn't take the clock, bring out their little bomb robot and blow it up.
You know what? Yeah. You know what? Now that you mention it, I'm surprised. I'm surprised as well. Matter of fact, why the hell didn't they? If they arrested the kid and took him off the jail, and they were worried about this clock, why on earth would they transport the clock instead of destroying it?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a little mind-boggling down there. And as I read and listened to the news studies on it, I just kind of sat there and shook my head and go, what the heck's going on in this world? But, the thing about all the news reports on it, they were presenting what happened there, but none of them talked about what do you do when they're trying to suspend a student? What if that was your kid?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, I want to tell you what, I'd be raising 10 different kinds of heck out there, you know?
Oh, yeah, me too. And those were kind of the things let's continue on past day one where we, all reached the conclusion that there was an absence of thought going on in Texas at this particular point in time. So now we got this kid that's suspended, and what are we going to do about it? And what are the kids' rights? And proceed through there. The tough thing about a lot of suspensions is that they end up on the child's permanent record.
Well, in a case like this one, where everything was proven to be false and innocent, would that still be on that kid? Would they not expunge that? Would that still be on his record?
I think they can expunge it. And I was just waiting to hear after Zuckerberg and President Obama invited him to the White House I was waiting for the next sentence to say, and the school district realizes it was just a clock, and they said they're sorry. He can come back to school tomorrow, and they're not going to suspend him. I never heard that.
You know, this is just crazy stuff. You know what? And it comes down to, we're supposed to be dealing with, let's refer to them as educators, David. Now, we're supposed to be talking about people that have a mental capacity beyond the people they're teaching. And you would think at some point they'd be more concerned about showing justice and being just and admitting that they made an error and making it right than they are in saving face.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you know, isn't that one of these things that you eventually at some point in time as you're growing up learn that when you make a mistake, usually the best way to solve the problem is to go apologize to whoever you offended.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's missing in this, at least has been so far. So I don't understand that. I would think if they're trying to, you know, install wisdom in our kids that they would have done that. They would have set the example.
Well, you know, I'm going to take you in another direction. Now, if you talk about wisdom and people that are supposed to have a mental intellect that's beyond the average and normal person, you want to talk about this presidential debate that took place yesterday or day before yesterday?
Yeah, we can talk about that. I didn't watch the debate. I was engaged in something else, so I got to apologize for that. But I've heard all the various comments. So
it wasn't a debate. I'll tell you what it was. It was CNN going after ratings. They had these guys up there for 3 hours, for gosh sakes, and CNN was just getting commercial time and making money on it. And they had 11 people up there that they were not debating. The host would actually stir the pot, and he would say, let's just say, Mr. Trump, Mr. Rand Paul has said this about you. What is your response to this? So they were trying to pit these guys and stir the pot and get a lot of controversy and battles going on. There was no debate, nobody talking about what we were going to do to fix the economy, what we were going to do to fix the illegal immigration, what we were going to do to make the world safer, what we were going to do for any of these things. It was just bickering back and forth all along that. At one point, at least, Chris Christie said, "Are you kidding me? Are you guys going to be bickering about what you do for a living or what your businesses were doing?" This is crazy stuff. We're not finding out anything about what they're really going to do. So Donald Trump talks about, well, we're going to build a wall, and we're going to take care of immigration, and I'm going to negotiate like nobody ever negotiated before, and I'm going to have the best people. But you know what? They don't tell you how they're going to do it, when they're going to do it. They don't tell you, actually don't even give you the name of who's they're going to bring on board. It's just all of this hollow, hot air. Nobody's saying anything.
Boy, I'm glad I missed that.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like middle school revisited.
Well, it scares the hell out of you because you got to be thinking, out of the 11 people that were there, and all well educated, all of them successful in their careers, and they are all taking for granted the fact that the rest of us in the United States are just mental idiots and don't understand that they're not telling us anything.
Oh, lovely! Wow. No, that would have just really disturbed me to sit and listen to 3 hours of that. And,
So here's the thing. So if you got 11 people, let's just say you've got let's add the other 4 in there, so that's 15, and then you've got the 3 that are running on the Democratic side, right? So that takes you to 18. There are 18 people that want to lead this country where? They're not even talking about it. They're all covering their own butts. They're all not one of them is worried about the country. They're all worried about being politically correct, with the exception of probably Bernie Sanders, Trump, and I don't even Ben Carson. I don't think is interested in being politically correct. But other than that, everybody else is just a politician and is business as usual, and nobody is going to do anything to help the situation that this country is in.
Oh, that's sad. That is really sad. Do you think these debates have deteriorated to the point of becoming reality TV almost?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. Absolutely. It's all about ratings. The only reason that there are 11 or 15 people that are debating on the Republican side, and the other three haven't started yet. The only reason that is going on is I believe that there's a law out there that states that if you give any candidate airtime, you are required by law to give equal airtime to the other candidates. And so I think that's what's going on here. But the truth is, they're not getting equal time. You got Trump, who's getting an exorbitant amount of time. You got Ben Carson, is getting very little time, but he's up in there. You got Fiorina, who's getting quite a bit of airtime now. You got Jeb Bush, who's getting airtime. The rest of the guys are getting nothing. It's just a game.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe we ought to just pack them all up, send them to Survivor Island, and when we get down to the final 2 or 3, we get entertaining TV as they work out their differences.
Oh, I'll tell you, I think we need to take them all out behind the church, right? Line them up, put hoods on their heads, and then do this.
That would work.
Yeah, and then just start all over again.
Yeah. There was one snippet I saw on the TV that we got into a discussion with a group of us. And is it Carson that's promoting the flat tax?
Yes.
The 10% tax?
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, and I don't know what your thought is, so before you actually give that, I want to tell you, from an accounting standpoint, how I feel about it. And I think it is the most unfair, unreasonable solution to the tax problems that we have that there could possibly be. The reason for that being that, 90% of the country lives from paycheck to paycheck. They're not millionaires and they're not billionaires. And so they live from paycheck to paycheck. And if you have this flat tax they're talking about, which is coupled with what they call a consumption tax, then you wind up paying tax, an exorbitant amount of tax on everything that you spend, and the guy that doesn't spend money doesn't pay any tax. And the truth is, if they got the billionaires to only be paying 15%, that's a tax reduction for most of them, whether they want to admit it or not.
Yeah, and see, I follow you there, and the consumption tax, I think Europe has a lot of that consumption tax kind of stuff going on, as I remember. But
yeah,
I completely agree with you there. But the thing we got into a discussion with, and one of the people I was talking with says, "Oh, that's a great idea. We just pay 10%, call it good. It's fair to everybody." But the thing that I brought up was, I don't think us or a lot of the people are aware how much of a societal engineering our tax code actually is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
well, first of all, if they had a flat tax, even if it was 15%, it would not bring in enough revenue to run the government. Of course, that's because we've got such a gigantic doggone government. It needs to be brought down. But it wouldn't be enough to run the government. And then all of these people that are running for president, they're all saying, well, we need to increase the military. We need 300 battleships and 400 of these and 500 of these. Where do they think they're going to get the money for that, for Pete's sake? They're not going to get it from a flat tax, it's fiscally irresponsible.
Yeah, I can see that, and the other part, the point I was making with them in our discussion is nobody will ever go for that because they won't want to give up the ability to manipulate society through the tax code.
Boy, that's for sure. Well, David, we are not only out of time, we're over out of time. I don't know where the time went. From now on, we're going to spend your first segment talking about the law and the second segment talking about whatever the hell we want to talk about.
Hey, that sounds good.
Have a great weekend. Stay safe, stay happy, my friend, and we'll talk to you next week.
You too, Bob. Have a great weekend.
All righty. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to be talking about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard Business Tip of the Day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 94 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is? It's September the 18th. It's Friday the 18th. And it's also somebody's birthday. Okay, so here we go. This person was born in 1905, passed away in 1990, an actress regarded as one of the greatest and most inscrutable movie stars ever produced. Happy birthday to Greta Garbo. And here's a person born in 1952, passed away in 2002, songwriter and bassist, known as the founding member of the punk rock band, the Ramones. Happy birthday, Dee Dee Ramone. And then finally, the person born in 1961, an actor best known for his role as Tony Soprano in the HBO series The Sopranos. Happy birthday to James Gandolfini, I think it is. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but he's gone now, so I don't think he cares anyway. How about this? What happened today in history on September the 18th, 1851? The first publication of the New York Daily Times, which would become the New York Times. Yes, sir. And then in 1977, Voyager 1 takes the first photograph of the Earth and the Moon together. Wow. Isn't that? I mean, just think about it, how magnificent that is. And then finally, in 1997, United States media magnate Ted Turner donates $1 billion to the United Nations. Wow. Can you imagine that? Must have needed the write-off, or maybe he just believed in it. We'll see. Well, the quote for today comes from Norman Thomas, and Norman says, "The secret of a good life is to have the right loyalties and hold them in the right scale of values." Now, that makes sense. If you give it some thought, it's really an important thing. Now, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. And you've heard me say it many times. This is all about a positive mental attitude. You know, how do you get yourself to a point of believing? Start making believe. Be like a child and make believe. Act as if you have it already. As you make believe, you'll begin to believe that you have received. The genie is responding to your predominant thoughts all the time, not just in the moment that you ask. That's why after you've asked, you must continue to believe and know. Have faith. Your belief that you have it, that underlying faith is your greatest power. When you believe that you're receiving, get ready and watch the magic begin. That, my friends, is a fact. Well, let's talk about the Harvard business tip of the day. And the management tip today is align your goals with your managers. You know, when you're negotiating with your manager over something that you want, you know, a raise, a project, getting to work from home sometimes, you have to speak in terms of your manager's agenda, not your own. That way, your request won't immediately sound like an additional burden. So instead of just saying what you want, for example, I need a raise because I think I deserve it, reframe your request to show how your manager will benefit too. For example, I'm excited about the effort you're leading, and I want to make sure I'm only rewarded for making an impact. Here's a proposal for how I think I can best help. Now, this increases the chances you'll be heard. Here's another example. Instead of, I want to lead a high-profile project so I can get promoted, rephrase your request. I think I can really help move the needle on your objective by doing this big project. That's how you get things done. Think about how it is you're actually going to approach these things and get the cooperation that you really need. Well, it's time for our interesting but useless facts, and we've got some really interesting ones for you today. Let's start off with this one. Did you know 1 penny doubled every day becomes over $5 million in just 30 days? Wow. Give that some thought. Yeah. Here's another one for you. Did you know bulletproof vests, fire escapes, windshield wipers, and laser printers were all invented by women? Now, there's one for you. That's something to celebrate. Let me give you another one. Did you know that it takes 17 muscles to smile and 43 to frown? So, if you're as lazy as I am, keep that smile on your face. Absolutely. Did you know that if you wear headphones for 1 hour, it increases bacteria in your ear 700 times? Now there is a scary thought if you give it some thought. Did you know $30 of raw popcorn translates into $3,000 in sales at the movie theaters? Man, you talk about a profit margin. That's it. Think about what that popcorn costs you. No wonder they give you the upgrades to the larger sizes, right? They're still making a fortune on it. How about this? Did you know that you cannot fold a piece of paper in half more than 7 times? It's impossible. There's one for you. Did you know this? A single drop of water contains 100 billion atoms. You know what? And we're all made up of atoms. Think about what the amount would be. Did you know that dreamt, D-R-E-A-M-T, is the only English word that ends in the letters M-T? That's kind of interesting if you think about it. You know? So let's see here. Did you know that if you blowtorch Pepto-Bismol, you would get a hunk of metal? Now, there is a scary thought. Now, I'm not going to try it. I might, you know what, with my grandson, I might try that one time just for the heck of it. We'll see what actually happens with it. And finally, did you know that seat belts became mandatory on U.S. cars on March the 1st of 1968? And there you are. There's the facts for today. Now, do not go away. When we come back, I'm going to be answering your emails. The first one comes from Ulysses Quintero from Gloucester Point, Virginia, asking about lost carry forwards, and I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently 94 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, that's down from 101 degrees on its way to 64. Thank goodness for that. But you know what? We're getting down to the wire, so it's time for us to answer your emails. I want to remind you that this is an entertainment section of the show, and sometimes the emails you send me are just a little little sketchy when it comes to the facts. So we do our best to answer them for you. But just remember that you were encouraged to always seek the advice of a licensed professional. You know, they're going to always save you more money than they cost you. They're going to give you peace of mind and let you sleep at night. Instead of you worried about registered letters and people knocking on the door and those late phone calls, you know what? If these guys make a mistake, part of the requirements of their licensing is that they have errors and omissions insurance, which means that if they make a mistake, they pay the piper, not you. That's why you get peace of mind and you can sleep at night. Isn't that right? That's what it's worth. Well, let's talk about our emails for the day. As I said, the first one comes from Ulysses Quintero from Gloucester Point, Virginia. And Ulysses says, he's talking about lost carry forwards and says, two spouses have separately owned investments but filed joint returns. One spouse incurs a very large loss, creating a large capital loss carry forward. Now, before it's used up on their joint returns, that spouse actually dies. Can the surviving spouse continue to use the loss carry forward in later years? Well, Ulysses, unfortunately, the answer to your question, no. The IRS, their position is that only the taxpayer who sustains the loss is entitled to take the deduction. So, when an individual incurs a big loss before marriage or on separately owned investments during marriage, he or she can deduct a resulting loss carry forward on joint returns during the marriage. But when that spouse dies, the carry forward dies too. The surviving spouse cannot continue to use it on future returns filed as a separate taxpayer. So just kind of keep that in mind as you move along. Next email is from Bilal Rubani from Sterling Heights, Michigan, asking about depreciation recapture and says, I intend to convert a building that I own to business use and then sell. If I take depreciation deductions for it, I'll have them taxed back to me when I sell the building. And I might be in a higher tax bracket then. Can I forego the depreciation deductions? So here's the deal, Bilal. Your tax bracket isn't going to matter here. When you sell a property for a gain, previously deducted depreciation is taxed back, but at a maximum rate of 25%. Now, the problem with not deducting the depreciation is that the tax code says gain on a property sale is computed counting depreciation allowed or allowable. So even if you don't take the deductions, gains computed as if you had. So take note here, the property acquired after 1980 and before 1987, there's special rules that apply. So go to IRS publication 534, that's depreciating property placed in service before 1987. And as I said, always seek the advice of a licensed professional. Next email comes from Caitlin Schenkel from San Jose, California, asking about cash from overseas and says, my parents live in a foreign country and want to make a large gift to me to help me get started here in the United States. Must international payments of more than $13,000 be reported and taxed? Well, here's the thing, Caitlin. Gifts are not subject to income tax, and U.S. gift tax does not apply to gifts made by foreigners. So any gift that you receive will be tax-free. Now, U.S. persons who receive more than $100,000 in a tax year from foreign nationals must report the fact on IRS Form 3520 as annual return to report transactions with foreign trusts and receipt of certain foreign gifts. But this doesn't make the gift taxable. Always keep in mind that gifts are never taxable to the recipient, always to the giver. And if the giver is not a resident of the United States and not a citizen of the United States, then they're not subject to United States tax law. So kind of keep that in mind as you move along. And my last email comes from Tyler Smith from Boulder, Colorado, asking about stock dividends and says, I invest through dividend reinvestment programs. Those are, we call them DRIPs. Is it also possible to do so in my IRA? Well, DRIPs are managed by corporate issuers of stock shares. So IRAs administered by banks, brokers, mutual funds, and other such IRA trustees do not permit investments in issuer-sponsored DRIPs. However, a growing number of corporate DRIPs now have a DRIP IRA option, including those of Walmart, Ford, Verizon, McDonald's, Sears, and ExxonMobil. Each such program holds only its own company's stock, so to have a diversified portfolio, you have to invest in several different programs. So kind of keep that in mind as you move along. Now, I want to remind you that you're listening. I want to thank you. Not remind you. I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and on 405 Media Radio Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails that deal with on my show. On my next show, my expert contributor is John Hanson, that little old wine drinker. He's going to be talking about food and wine, and I'm going to present what's new in the tech world. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me on Monday for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. And you know what? In the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to make everybody's life that you touch better for it. In the meantime, good night, everybody.